Well, that went well. Episode 4 coming up in tonight's episode.
So ridiculously gracious of you. I think they're all pricks. We'll also have some of this.
Yeah, I'd say a couple of lazy lob-ons. We will be having quite a serious discussion about this. You're going to have to do with a lot of the shit that the Tories just ruined in this country.
I would also say that when Labour got in, they had a chance to do something and then also kicked into the long grass. We might disagree a little bit over this.
No, it isn't. It isn't a state-run broadcaster.
Tom, I'm right-wing. Don't come here with your facts.
And we will be giggling like schoolgirls at this. Like, whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Hello. I did it again, a real casual hello.
Yeah. Hello. I mean, it'd be weird to
good evening.
Weird to shout in a shed, really.
It would.
It would reverberate. This is, that went well. It's the topical comedy show that wraps up the disasters of the last 7 days, he said, ID in the concept.
Yeah. I mean, has it been that much of a disaster? I mean, we've got a brand new loony lefty Prime Minister.
I was wondering all week about how you felt about a bloke with doing some left-wing stuff.
We'll get on to Bernie Boy.
We will get on to Bernie Boy. One of the things I moaned a bit after the Q&A last week, that I got a bit of a battering in the comments section.
More of that coming, don't worry.
What I had was, there was a woman that said, I never thought I'd fancy a right-winger. There's just one comment.
Nice.
But I was kind of happy about that.
Well, on a similar vein, we've got Tomathan looking fine with 3 E's again. Yeah. Can't wait to see him live in September. Thanks for the plug. Now it goes for a little bit of a U-turn. I just spent 17 weeks in hospital where my mum was told twice to expect me to die. So I'm making the... Don't laugh at that.
In that way... No, but in that way, that's a bit Game of Thrones. Expect her to die. I'm hoping it was put a bit more sensitively.
She's making the most of being alive and doing all the things I might have put off before. And seeing Tom live will mean an awful lot to me. And I don't want to take the piss out of her, but if seeing me live is on your bucket list, is that a life well lived?
That is pressure as well.
Yeah, it better be fucking good.
If you've lived to see something and it disappoints. Imagine if she then just checks herself back in and goes, it wasn't worth it.
My partner is just happy that he will have me sat next to him and we can laugh our asses off.
Yes.
Time. So, although I'm not known to be that funny, but I'm just glad you're well and not dead.
You're just glad that you sold 2 tickets.
Well, I'm glad that I managed to get in the first 30 seconds a sort of little plug in. No, see it flashing now.
It was nicely done. This isn't in the overall subjects we're going to be discussing. Obviously, a bit of Burnham, bit of Trump, bit of BBC chat today as well. But Edinburgh, I don't know if you saw, the Edinburgh Council have levied a tourist tax on every hotel of £5. Yeah, I'm doing a week up there. There's one thing that anybody's been to Edinburgh in August has never thought is like, I wonder if we could just nudge the hotel prices up just a little bit.
Yeah, just to rinse them just a tiny bit more.
I don't feel like £370 for an ibis is enough.
We might get onto this, but you know that obviously Burnham's cut business rates for bars and music venues, but not comedy clubs.
Yeah, why do you hate comedy, Andy Burnham? Yeah,
we'll find out. Let's just have a couple more of these. Tom getting better about not talking off access to the mic. Now to stop him covering his mouth when he talks. So Will just keeps having a go at me at how shit my mic skills are because I keep sort of doing this and sort of doing this and then sort of sometimes I'm just doing this. And frankly, that's my style.
It is, but it's also like it can't be your style because your mouth needs to be near the mic.
Well, we've been doing it for 4 weeks, and this is the 4th week, and I'm not going to, it's annoying, isn't it? It's in the fucking way.
It is. You've got to be... I love how you say that's my style. That was a very... I don't know, it's kind of a 14-year-old. Well, that's just my style, man.
Well, it is. This is my style.
By the way, if you haven't watched the Q&A too, you really need to watch it because Tom's... what was it you said about music being groovy?
All music sounds the same, but then Happy Mondays, it's good to boogie to. Okay. And a few people in the comments have gone, there's nothing wrong with a bit of a boogie. This is great. I love shins and forearms, because you were mentioning last week that men's shins are bad. Michelle Cook, 584, I love shins, is what she said.
Well, what I said was there was no aesthetic market for the male shin, and I'd go as far as saying there's not a single OnlyFans account that's making money through male shins.
Michelle Cook has got a thing for shins. This is brilliant. That we've been talking a lot, wanging on about how Phantom Menace is the best of the opening trilogy 3. Yeah. A lot of people people taking us to task on that. A lot of people being nasty about it. This guy does not agree with this, but this is brilliant. The Phantom Menace is basically a film about two broke blokes who gamble on a child winning a race so they've got enough money to fix their broken spaceship. That's pretty accurate, isn't it?
I think that reminds me of when Mark Kermode reviewed Revenge of the Sith, and he summarised it and said, "Teenager gets new hat." So there you go. That's a good one for the comment section. Can you summarise in that way? We'll start off with the Star Wars saga, the Skywalker saga. Can you have a pithy one or two line?
Sort of a tagline that sort of undermines the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just a couple more before we move on. I was a stagehand for Harry H. Corbett in the 70s. So many sweeps backstage. Belief system shattered.
Sweep.
A row of sweep. Because we were talking about how sweep is the greatest comedy invention ever.
So this is in the question and answers 2. We spoke about City and Sweep being underrated for comedy.
And someone else mentioned, bang on about sweep, Chaz from Morph is a Fukin legend too. So
I mean, what I love about that is that bloke's wrote it late at night on a Friday, and he's sat there with a glass of Merlot to go, signed off about that.
Yeah.
And then gone, is this where my life is now? But the chats, by the way, when it premieres and it goes out at 10 p.m, it does premiere, we're keeping an eye on the chats, and there's a little community thing happening, which is really lovely. So do as many as you can, watch it on 10 p.m. when it goes out, and those conversations are a lot of fun.
I'm definitely monitoring it, and I'm not getting quietly smashed on vodka martini. I'm definitely involved.
I noticed a lot less Geoff hate, and that felt like growth.
They're warming to you. Although, just one more. It feels like they're having a go at me, and then just listen to how this comment ends. This is from PR7730. Hey Tom, please don't be a fashion snob. If people want to wear socks with Crocs, is that really a problem? Please don't let the other bloke drag you down.
Oh, nice. Well, there was a couple of drive-bys there. Okay, look, listen, do like and subscribe to this. Hit that hype button, hit the bell button, hit any relevant buttons. And also remember to pose direct questions in the comments. It feels like it's time for the Half-Arsed Monologue.
Hooray!
So this is the Half-Arsed Monologue. Thanks very much to the person that said to me, all these seem a bit thrown together. Yep, I mean, that is exactly the point.
It's supposed to be this shit.
It's supposed to be this shit. I mean, don't put it like that. So I have an audience of one here, and it is very much down to Tomathan to decide whether or not these get...
This is me miming popcorn.
A green or a red light. It's actually weirdly pressurised, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So I have to set myself a little bit.
Fear.
And I've realised I do observe the kind of like standard establishment topical joke rhythm, but maybe...
But I think that's the point, isn't it?
Maybe that rhythm does exist for a reason. Okay, here we go. Andy Burnham has cut VAT to give households a bit of breathing space. Given the savings amount to £4 a month, the breathing will be into a paper bag while you have another panic attack because you're still poor.
Yeah. I would have ended with broke because it's got a nicer...
Poor's funny. Poor's
it's a difficult word to end the sentence on for it to land.
Broke is a bit... But that's, I think, because I'm right-wing and obviously I hate all poor people. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I did hate myself when I was poor.
It's same here. But I also like the satirical target of that, and I always find it weird when a government kind of goes, we are going to spend £2.6 billion cutting taxes, which actually equates to £8 a year for every household, and you go, is it really worth it? This is going to be £45 a year that this is going to help people out, and I know every little helps, and I don't want to appear like I'm going, £45, because to some people, I guess, over a year, that would be a lot of money.
Really, though? That's one iced coffee a month.
I just think, we've never really gone into this, but VAT is just stealing.
It's stealing. One day in every 5 you work for the government if you're VAT registered. Yeah. Oh, now I can see the comments now. You're VAT registered, are you, lad? Yeah.
This is part of your portfolio.
Is your lobster too buttery?
Yeah. But also, I just think, you could just cut VAT, and then everyone's life would be...
Yeah, but then the Treasury would have to make it up elsewhere.
It is a fairly... is egalitarian the right word? But I mean, if you're buying if you can afford something expensive, you're getting you're getting taxed the same amount as someone who's buying a pencil.
Yeah, but it's also it's progressive because expensive stuff costs more.
Really?
See, this is why you need a right winger in here.
No.
Economic, fiscal clarity.
Yeah, but more expensive stuff is still at a 20% rate.
Yeah, but then you're still paying more tax. Anyway, this feels like a bigger discussion about tax.
All right.
Edinburgh Council has slapped a tourist tax which will affect people visiting the yearly Fringe Festival because evidently sitting through middle-class pricks doing improv wasn't punishment enough.
Yeah.
I thought you'd like that one. I genuinely thought you'd like that more.
Yeah, no. Oh, do you know what I was thinking? I was thinking about the podcast and go, haven't we already discussed this in the, you know?
Well, but that's the thing is the Half-Arsed Monologue interweaves with
now,
stuff.
Now, the other day when I asked you to repeat a question because I wasn't listening, you said no, and rightly so. Could you repeat that joke again just so I can double check that it was good?
No. The Odyssey did $250 million during its first weekend, despite the furore over having a black woman playing a Greek part. It's almost like people watching a film containing a man-eating one-eyed cyclops can suspend disbelief.
Nice.
Well, it's lefty-friendly, isn't it?
I was going to say, that's the sort of thing that early Pie would have come out with.
Well, it's lefty-friendly. I would say it's lefty-friendly because it's not that funny, like, you know.
Very good.
As a joke.
But what I am enjoying about, despite my reservations about Christopher Nolan, I'm really enjoying Christopher Nolan handing Elon Musk his arse on a plate. Did you see Elon Musk yesterday has tweeted that because he's so pissed off that there's some colourblind casting and he's really pissed off that Elliot Page is in it because obviously he used to be a she and Musk doesn't like that. We can have a discussion about trans rights or anything, but it might be good casting. I don't know. It might be bad casting. I don't know. But what I'm loving is Elon is so pissed off that it's doing well. Yesterday, he announced that before the year ends, Grok Imagine will make a full-length movie of the Odyssey that is historically accurate and true to the art of Homer.
Did he really say that?
This was literally tweeted out today.
It's just embarrassing.
He also wants to remake it, and he might pay for it with Mel Gibson directing. This is all true. Because, I mean, it looks to me like the Odyssey will be the movie of the year, right? And it might divide some people. The critics seem to really like it. But, I mean, it's really weird how I used to be the sort of person that would sort of have been on that side of kind of going, maybe colourblind cast, let's have a discussion about it at the very least, like we did the other day.
Let's not do it for its own sake, but if that person is clearly the best person for that part, fine.
And like we were saying the other day, movie is about interpretations. I don't know why Elon Musk has got such a fucking...
Yeah, I mean, you know how like lefties piss you off? There is a part of the right that pisses me off so much about stuff like this.
Yeah,
where
it's so like, petty and schoolyardy.
Well, it's like this gang, isn't it?
Well, we'll make our own movie.
Yeah, also like, everybody, let's all not watch the Odyssey. Well, it turns out maybe
that seems to be working.
Yeah, it's working really well. However, the live-action remake of Moana failed to clear $100 million in its opening weekend. Yeah, no one wants to see a live-action remake of a film which was only out a couple of weeks ago. The only worst creative decision would be to make a Pixar version of Oppenheimer.
I'd watch that though.
I kind of thought you might say that. A Pixar version of Oppenheimer.
I found Oppenheimer.
They'd all have really big eyes.
I mean, we already know
from the radiation.
Well, actually, you could use the Minions because the Minions have got the goggles.
What, these little scientific helpers?
Hey, boss. It would be more fun than Oppenheimer.
Slapstick heaven.
Yeah.
One of the Minions splits the atom prematurely and takes out like a US state. The summer heatwave continues. There are parts of the West Country where it's been weeks since they've seen rain or a decent 5G signal or more than 3 surnames. You liked it, and it's such an old principle for a joke. It's literally.
But the oldies are the best. They're all shagging themselves.
You hated yourself for liking it. That's
what's weird is I am a West Country boy, so you could have gone with Norfolk, and I might have found it funnier because actually that was quite insulting.
It was nothing more than a "give me 6" joke, and your sister's your cousin. Yeah. I did that, and I got a laugh out of him. Nice.
How did you know my sister was my cousin?
Because you're from the West Country.
Oh,
the BBC faced a backlash following their recent promo asking, what has the BBC ever done for me? Apparently there was a longer version where Jimmy Savile said they'd helped him find kids and dead people to fuck.
Fantastic.
Can we include that?
I fucking hope so.
I mean, I still do work for them. This is risky for me.
Talking about working for the BBC, I'm sure we'll talk about the BBC later, but someone had a go at me on this thing of going, are you still working for the BBC? Because I did a sitcom on the BBC Radio 4. Still paying your mortgage by BBC dollar. It's like, do you know how much they pay to do it? It's a well-known way to pay off your mortgage, isn't it? By writing a radio sitcom.
But genuinely, it's so interesting to me because I get it from the right. But what's really weird is people obviously don't keep up with your career, and they'll say things like, oh, doing the BBC, are we now, Norcott? I'm like, yeah, because that's the only way you know who the fuck I am.
And also there was this accusation of kind of like, you know, as opposed to actually getting yourself a real job. You go, well, I'm a sort of a writer, comedian. That is, I do have to earn some money.
And quite a few people watch it, but as we'll discuss later, there's not just a BBC promo thing, there's a licence fee thing. So we'll give a full account of where we are on the BBC later.
Yeah, we're going to be taking down Auntie's particulars coming up.
That is definitely something Terry White...
I loved your little boyish giggle.
Yeah. No, do you know what it is? I really love kind of 70s smut-based. There's nothing funnier than innuendos. Like every time I go and get a Subway and they say 6-inch or foot long, I'm like...
Oh, both,
please.
Do you know what I miss growing up? I don't know if you... But Carry On films were on ad nauseum, right? Yeah. And there was something quite cosy about a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon watching Carry On Nurse, like whoop, lovely stuff.
There's some stuff for the trailer. All right, it's been the first week of Andy Burnham as Prime Minister, so let's get into a bit of everything else is politics.
I thought that was the start of a joke, but
no, we're done. We're done. Yeah.
Thank God.
So this week, it feels like quite a long time ago, but on Monday, Keir Starmer was basically drop-kicked into political obscurity in a bloodless coup, and Andy Burnham kissed the fat finger of the king.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the fat finger, who knows what else.
The royal sausage.
Suck the royal sausage. And he was anointed as the Prime Minister of the North and of Britain. He united the 5 kingdoms on the Iron Throne, or whatever the fuck he did. But
England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales...
Falklands
and the Falklands,
Gibraltar, and he became that. And it's fair to say that there's been a general sense of a good vibe surrounding his first week, which kind of climaxed in this, which he said outside Number 10.
That work starts now. I will soon go through that door behind me and issue my first instruction to end rough sleeping in our country.
So that was the moment, which obviously gave a lot of people hope. But my first thought, and this is the big burning political question of the week, has Andy Burnham given you a semi yet?
I'd say a couple of lazy lob-ons.
An ideological semi.
An ideological lob-on. What I would say about that clip there is I watched it, and obviously he's there without notes, and he's a lot more presentable and a lot more charismatic. We'll get onto his incessant fucking Instagram posts shortly. One of my main themes, I suppose, of the Starmer premiership, of my writing and Jonathan Pye, was kind of, what is your moral mission? Right? I mean, it was sort of a phrase that, because they never really promised anything, Starmerism, right? If you read their last manifesto, it was about as inspiring as when you forget your telephone when you go for a shit, so you end up having to read the back of a bleach bottle, right? It was that kind of level of inspiration. It was sort of one of the themes of Starmerism where I would often find myself saying, or Pye would often find himself going, fiscal responsibility, fine, but where's your moral mission? Where's that hope? Where's that aspiration that we were talking about last week? And I would often say things like, where is the aspirational policy, like, there are more food banks in this country than there are McDonald's. We're going to do something about that, and not just by opening more McDonald's.
Or more food banks.
Yeah.
We're going to push it on.
Yeah, let's keep going. Yeah. But also the one was, we are going to aspire to end rough sleeping. You go... It's an aspirational, important societal thing. And in doing so, the chances are you're going to have to deal with social care. You're going to have to deal with a lot of the shit that the Tories just fucking ruined in this country. Because let's be honest, social care is have been on its
I would
knees for a
also
long
say
time.
that when Labour got in, they had a chance to do something and then also kicked into the long grass.
You're absolutely right. That they literally kicked their own social care thing. We'll deal with that in a few years' time.
Pensioners into the.
And if Labour isn't about social care, then I don't know what it's about. So I will say, when I watched that speech and he said that, I literally went, and don't normally do this.
Yeah.
I was literally, yes!
You tore the head off it.
Because he finally said something that we can, there is no one can deny. You go that homeless people sleeping rough on the streets, people dying of cold in the winter on our streets, drug addicts fucking everywhere living on our streets is a demonstration of a capitalist society gone
it's not a great look.
It really is. And if you can't look after, literally, if you're a government is there to look after the most vulnerable, weakest people in the country, and if you're sleeping rough, you are the most vulnerable subset, if that's a way of putting it.
Do you know
I welcome that. It might not happen, but as an aspiration, I was like, finally, we can see where Labour is, where its moral compass is, where he's trying to push their moral compass. So
I think he had a good launch week. Let's say that much. Yeah. Soft launch, as the kids say. Big launch, not a soft launch.
That was not a soft launch. That was a fucking veiny launch.
A throbbing launch. I mean, the good thing about picking ending rough sleeping, and there is a difference between rough sleeping and homelessness. I don't know if anyone knows exactly what it is. Like, you can't sort of say to people, you have to go in a hotel, right? But it's a noble ambition which is hard to argue against. One of the things it did shine a light on for me was where Starmer and Reeves had that moment, but they just wanted, like some people like owning the libs. Starmer's and Reeves' first instinct was to say 14 years, 22 billion. And they wanted to say, weren't the Tories bad? After an election where the whole reason the Tories got smashed was because they were bad. We've been discussing how bad they've been for several years, and they carried on that conversation. And what Burnham's done is he's like a sort of UN worker flying into a place and he's handing out food parcels.
Yeah.
The food parcels are really small, you know what I mean? It's a little baby bell and half a sandwich. But it's better than nothing, and it's better than somebody saying things are going to get worse before they get better, which was genuinely the message of the Labour government. And I do wonder, just with Starmer and Reeves, whether in their more sober moments they'll look at that and gone, we should have done that.
But they could have, if they hadn't fucked up the winter fuel thing and had done that better. Let's assume that they did that better. Had they spent the first 2 or 3 months of their premiership going, it is really tough, and the accounts are far worse than we thought it is. However, we are going to attempt to end homelessness right now. To give it that hope, and like I say, positioning them that you have a moral mission as well as just a fiscal mission.
Fiscal mission, that's the point. It doesn't sound like a fun mission. Who's gone on?
I don't know. That sounds like quite a good, Mission Impossible 7.
Yeah.
Fiscal mission.
I didn't know. I went for a gag there.
What was that?
Sometimes
that's quite a good out.
No. When you do comedy, sometimes, right, you go upstairs to your little comedy factory and you ask for a reference, and then the comedy union rules go, well, you didn't clear this with us. Sorry, mate, we've clocked off.
I didn't see that, mate.
There's no references there. I mean, one of the things he did do, we'll get into the annoying things of the narrativization of some of his stuff. He's very big on narrative, and he was talking about bus fares. So Tories actually brought it down to £2. Labour put it back up to £3, weirdly, and then Burnham has brought it back down to £2.
That's the second thing Labour did. You go. We're gonna let pensioners freeze.
Yeah.
And let's put, because people that use the bus, they could do with paying a bit more. People who use the bus are exactly the sort of people Labour should be looking after.
Do you know what they were doing at that time? Is, like Alan Partridge dances for the BBC Commissioner. Him and Reeves were both doing that for the bond markets.
Yeah.
That was the only person they wanted to impress. Like Starmer was looking back and going, is this good for you? Is this what you want? When, they kind of spurned the opportunity to make a positive impression. But I think that the only thing that annoyed me a bit was with the narrativization of the bus cap reduction. So they said that you can't reduce the bus cap. No, Andy, no one said you can't do it, all right?
Yeah.
The narrativization is bugging me. What people might have said is that subsidising literally everything might end up with a big bill to pay. But this is, and it kind of takes us into our next thing, is that he's very smart at telling a big story around all of his politics, isn't he? It's very like that suddenly becomes he's the hero. They told me I couldn't do this. No one's ever said that you can't subsidise stuff. Just that maybe some bus fares and routes will eventually collapse.
But it does cut through more than a government that is obsessed with and speaks of nothing but GDP, growth, the bond market.
You're talking my language here.
No. You go, actually, we'll deal with GDP and bond markets and Geoff's portfolio, but we're also going to talk about buses and getting your bills down. I mean, it's a start, but, all right, 5% off your bills, 45 quid a year. Okay, fine. Yeah. Business and pub rates being reduced, not comedy clubs. Come on, Andy. But that is stuff that actually affects
retail politics.
Yes, but also, but in a small way, that actually affects or feels like it affects mine and your life more than fucking GDP and borrowing.
Well, so he's telling a good story, but one of the places he's telling a story a lot is in his social media on Instagram and
even
TikTok.
I started fucking hating.
Yeah, well, Andy Burnham Insta-cringe is very quickly becoming a thing. Let's just see a quick example of what he's been up to this week.
3 things you probably already know about me. I go to a lot of gigs, I do like a pint, and I have been known to give a DJ set from time to time.
I also like eating pussy, I like fucking McDonald's, fucking...
Sorry, are you carrying on what he likes to do, or you just...
Oh, no, sorry, you've just interrupted a conversation. No, but
hot mic, dude, hot mic.
I like lager, I like darts, I like tits, it's just like,
Is that an impression of me? It felt a bit. It's very close.
It's a Burnham Norcott kind of.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what is annoying me. Do you know the moment someone says, one of the things everybody knows about me? No, everybody doesn't know it about you. You know that kind of teenage girl at school that would trail her birthday for like a week and go, everyone knows it's my birthday in a week.
Yeah, it's my birthday month.
Oh my God. And then would still talk about it a month after. Yeah. Who remembers my birthday last month? There's a little bit of that. And this is minor criticisms. He's just a little bit too happy to be out there. And there is a part of you goes, all right, a post a day. But then you go, hang on, he's done 4 a day. They're not prime ministering.
There was one of him in a bus driver thing to announce his £2 cap. It's also the DJ thing. It's like, okay, mate, fine, you like spinning some decks. Whatever.
He's done it again.
No. I'm doing it. I'm doing Andy. Yeah. I know that it's spinning. That's weird. Tunes.
Yeah.
Tunes. I don't want him to. You remember when Tony Blair would occasionally get his fucking guitar out and start playing with Bill Clinton playing his fucking saxophone, and you're just like, oh God, not in a wanky way, the opposite of wanking. Balls going up inside. It's just
the retreat.
It's. I do have an element of hope for Burnham. I really do hope that he is a heavyweight, not a lightweight. This isn't boding well for me, all of this Instagram nonsense. And also it gives him further to fall because he's starting to look like a dick. And I really want to like this guy, but stop with the fucking Instagram posts.
Well, it's kind of like, it's Ed Davey plus. It's definitely better than Ed Davey.
Oh, it's better than Ed Davey, but at least Ed Davey is sort of... Ed Davey doesn't think he's cool.
Yeah.
Ed Davey knows that he's being a bit of a pillock, as my dad would call it, and sort of, oh no, I got poured with water, ha ha ha. It's like, the deputy head on the last day of term allowing you to water bomb him. Burnham thinks he's cool, so that's even less cool.
Yeah.
In a way, he's less cool than Ed Davey.
One thing everybody knows about me is I like really good music.
I like good music. I like tits.
He'd be one of the guys at a party going, I'll actually send you a playlist. Yeah. He'd be one of those guys. He's one of those guys that would over-recommend.
I've done you a mixtape.
Yeah. And over-recommend a documentary.
Yeah.
If somebody spends more than 30 seconds recommending a documentary, I inwardly resolve to never ever watch it. That was a really good documentary. It's really good. It's about the Beatles. Fuck off, Andy. All right?
I would watch a documentary about the Beatles.
Yeah, but not because he said it.
No, absolutely.
All right, let's talk about Donald Trump now. Now, you've got a question for me.
I've got a question for something, and we haven't discussed this at all, right? So I'm just really interested to know if you've heard this or if you read about it.
I keep up the news. I would imagine that most Donald Trump stuff I'm across.
Did you know that Trump last week paid out, what was it, £5.6 million to the victim of, he sexually assaulted her. Were you aware of that? That last week he finally paid out?
No. Genuinely, I wasn't. That was last week.
Yeah.
Okay, so this. I remember the case. So it's like a civil case.
Yeah, I mean,
it?
so basically 3 years ago, just a bit of backstory. 3 years ago, a unanimous jury found President Trump liable for sexual assaulting and defaming E. Jean Carroll. So a jury of his peers have found him guilty of sexual assault. I think that was in a civil court rather than a criminal court. I might be wrong about that. So that was 3 years ago, and then a judge forced him last week. You've now got to pay her £5.6 million. You haven't heard about it. I only just saw this in a tiny little thing. I suppose what the conversation that I'm want to start is, can you imagine any other president in the history of, or any other world leader in the history of the world, where him paying a victim of sexual assault millions of pounds would not be front page news?
No, I admit
everywhere.
Yeah, I admit it is surprising that wasn't big news. Obviously, part of this, we're offering a bit of balance, but I'm going to say I don't think that's great.
No.
Yes.
Were you aware at all that Trump last week has mooted that he is going to charge financial firms, I think $100,000 to get his Truth Social posts before anyone else?
So he's gone public with this.
This is something that he's mooted. Yeah.
To get sensitive stock market.
So that you can, if you're a financial firm, you pay him £100,000 and you can get sensitive stuff like him. I'm going to bomb Iran tonight.
Okay.
I mean, basically, I suppose what's interesting is his first term. We were still sort of there eating the popcorn, going, oh my God. We're bored of it. But we're bored to a point where his corruption is so overt, and he's paying off people who he's sexually assaulted. It doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, could I be honest? I have two reactions to that. I'm like, on the one hand, I'm like going, yeah, this is a weird new normal. On the other hand, I'm thinking, how sensitive is that information? Would I get a return on that 100,000? I mean, that's my toxic trait. And to be clear, before anybody goes mental in the comments, if I was in the States, I think my politics would put me to the right of the Democrats, because that's the way. If anyone in the US is watching,
you're to the right of the Democrats.
I'd be on the right of the Democrats, I think, because the way that US and UK politics align, people might presume that if you are a conservative in this country, that would make you a Republican there, but it doesn't quite work like that. The way that US politics, no, because it's very much two-party politics there. It is weird. I mean, there's so much mad stuff. I mean, when Trump said in the original phase of the Iran conflict that he was going to help them pick the new Ayatollah, that on its own. You sort of think it's Donald. I think more that's something they generally do in-house.
When he kidnapped the president of Venezuela, he told oil companies before he did it, he didn't tell Congress.
Do you know that he originally
why is this not fucking headline news every
because he's
single
flooded
time?
the zone. That's what he does well. He's flooded the zone. Do you know also that operation in Venezuela was originally planned for Christmas Eve?
Really?
Yeah. Can you imagine that? If you're just sitting there as a child waiting up for Santa, and then a fucking Chinook goes past.
A SWAT team comes down your chimney, you're like, here he is.
Yeah, exactly. You go, wow, Santa is, they weren't on the nice list.
Just another couple of things that he's done that I just think it's worth telling people, because the news just don't cover it because they're bored. A couple of weeks ago, Trump granted himself and his sons forever immunity from being looked at by the tax officials. Forever. If that isn't an overt admission, you go, well, we're doing some dodgy shit, so I just need forever immunity.
I mean, it raises an eyebrow. I mean, I'm not equating this because I do think that they are a bit different, but it doesn't help that Joe Biden on his way out did a sort of forever pardon for his son. Now, I would say that cumulatively, I think it's worth me saying just before I get savage, is that cumulatively what Trump's done is beyond that. But that's why it's really important for the Democrats to keep their side of the street clean.
It is. However, I think Trump and his team were fairly overt in the run-up that they had Hunter in their sights. Also, he pardoned, what's the medical man?
The medical
Fauci. And you go, well, that's an admission that he must have done something wrong. You go, no, but you have been attempting to attack this guy and put him in prison for a long time. I kind of got why he did that. Yeah.
Can I just say, I didn't hear what you're saying because I was so impressed that I remembered Fauci's name.
So it's that bit of the show where we ask you to subscribe. They're going up nicely.
Just ticking up, aren't they? Ticking up beyond 14,000. We're hoping to get to 40,000.
150,000 by the end of this episode.
Well, we do. This is a 5-week run, so this is a trial thing. So all of the likes, subscribes, and hypes are helping us come back sooner. But we're every Friday in July. This is the penultimate show. Just hype it. Tell people as well. Do tell people.
Time for just a couple more comments. The music and aging chat was Chef's Kiss last week. We were talking about us aging. 48-year-old female here. This is Nikki JG. 48-year-old female here who decided a couple of years ago to stop colouring her hair. Wow. The weird comments I get from mostly women that I should colour my hair to cover the grey is off the charts at times. At one time it would have bothered me, but now because of the massive amount of perimenopausal rage in me, I no longer give a shit.
Perimenopausal people should be conscripted into the army.
Without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, in America, they're trying to get people to take testosterone to get... Fuck that. Give them perimenopausal pills.
Would you know there's that weird thing in men and women where like men's testosterone goes gradually down, women's goes up. So apparently there's like a 2-week window in your early 60s where you sort of understand where the fuck each other's coming from. It's brief though, and then you're like, then she just gets angrier, you just get more scared.
Yeah. A few things about music. I got lots of recommendations. I'm not going to go through them, but I have a recommendation for you. I bought a record at the weekend. Eurythmics, We Two Are One. It's a banger.
I bought a record at the weekend was where I sort of was fully invested in that.
Well, and then, an LP, no one says LP, do they?
But like, it's just such a like 90. I was like Nick Hornby, like we're literally high fidelity mode here. And then you said Eurythmics.
What's wrong with that? My sister bought it for me. It wouldn't have occurred to me to buy a Eurythmics thing. I put it on. Every track is a banger. I can guarantee it.
I thought you were going to recommend some new band called like the Flaming Pies or something.
They're probably that's
the Flaming Lips. Yeah.
Happy Mondays at Glasgow in 2000. One of the most memorable live band experiences. The on-stage shenanigans made me laugh like a drain. Presumably they were just snorting fat lines of coke.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Just everything you could do to help us grow this podcast. We'll be back. So just give it a like, thumbs up. Yeah, all that stuff. So the other stuff is Showbiz. So a lot of people have been aware during the World Cup final, the BBC did a big launch of their What Has the BBC Ever Done For Me campaign. It made a big splash, and here's a little bit of it you can see now.
Sure, it's great if you're a fan of Ian Beale.
So I would just say first up, right? So I'm of the right. You might expect me to bash the BBC. I want to hear what you think about the BBC first. I just think if you're saying the BBC is still great, don't start in the Queen Vic with a programme that used to get 19 million that now gets 2.5, and don't start with Ian fucking Beale.
Ian Beale, the best of the BBC. Here's Adam Woodyard.
No offence to Adam Wood. Well, some.
Yeah.
Why the hell are they starting in Albert Square? Well, surely you start with the Traitors or Strictly or something.
Well, I'll tell you why they filmed it in Albert Square is because they own the Albert Square lot, and therefore we can just shoot this on a Sunday, nice and cheap.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'd have had to actually pay for. So that's why it's like whenever they do a Children in Need dance, it's always in fucking Albert Square. Why? Because it's free.
I just don't get it. It's not that. It's like, let's get Hugh Edwards in the background. I'm not saying that Ian Beale and Hugh Edwards are the same.
I think that would have been a bold move.
That would have been a big shout, wouldn't it? It's just
Hugh Edwards and Mr. Blobby in the background. So it's
Scott Mills, like just the whole gang, Greg Wallace.
Yeah.
I think like I don't
gang.
The whole gang, the worst. Getting the old HR gang back together. I mean, listen, let's find out what you think. First of all, what do you think of it as a piece of comms, as a promo? Did you think it was effective?
Something weird happened. I watched it all the way through, and then I watched it all the way through a second time, and I couldn't. There was something about it that I thought, God, this is weird. It felt weird. I didn't mind it. I do like the sentiment of it and what it's trying to do. I do find it not like. It's how quickly Ramesh has become sort of a national treasure. It's like a couple of years ago he was sort of on the odd panel show, and now it's like he's everywhere, not in an annoying way.
Well, there were gags.
You know what I mean?
I thought, to be honest, and full cards on the table, he's a mate of mine. I thought he was a good person to be in it because he had a healthy air of cynicism about the whole enterprise.
Well, he's got a...
If you'd have had a pure tits and teeth person, it would have been grating very quickly.
If you'd have done it completely with absolute earnestness, it wouldn't have quite worked. Whereas he's got that sort of... lackadaisical kind of...
There's a pleasing cynicism about it. So he was a brilliant character. As it went on, they were like, what about Traitors? What about Strictly? And you're like, talk about that stuff at the beginning. Don't talk about like...
Ian
fucking Beale. But then we're talking about Ian Beale. Maybe it's like dark arts of PR. I don't know. I mean, I want to find out about your view of the BBC generally, because also alongside that, and it was, I don't know if it was timed like this, but there was the news that 500,000 less people again are paying their licence fee. And I know that you're a BBC fan. I would say that kind of I am as well, you know.
The principle of the BBC, this does not mean that I condone every mistake they make. The BBC, it fucks up all the time. It fucks up all the time. But what I do think a lot of people forget is, of all the broadcasters on the planet, the BBC is the most accountable on the planet. They are accountable to the taxpayer. That's not to say that they don't fuck up, and it's not to say they don't sometimes cover up their mistakes, and it's not to say that they haven't in the past occasionally sort of, helped a paedophile or two get sort of, I mean,
I did do a joke about that earlier. I mean, they weren't like suggesting hookups, but there was certainly historically it was an open secret.
There have been serious issues in the past and probably in the present and possibly in the future with elements of the BBC culture. However, I suppose for me, I'm a centre left, right? I think the BBC is this weird thing where it's sort of an old school small c and big C conservative thing, because it is a British institution and conservatism is about conserving those British institutions. But it's also this sort of left-wing ideal that it is oddly... It's a socialist.
It's a state broadcaster. I mean, like, don't get me wrong.
No. It isn't. It isn't a state-run broadcaster. I think people make this mistake. It's essentially a publicly owned broadcaster.
But if you don't pay the licence fee, there are currently people in jail for not.
I don't think there are anymore, and you can't go to prison for it, and it is voluntary. And this isn't also to say,
Tom, I'm right wing. Don't come here with your facts.
With my facts and stuff. I mean, look, I just think that we are massively privileged in this country to have the BBC, and also what I like about the advert is that it demonstrates what the BBC does generally, rather than I don't like anything on the BBC. You go, well, it's that socialist ideal, really, where you pay into something, whether you use it or not. That's, I'm happy to pay in. I'm not suggesting the BBC is on level with the NHS, but it's like, I'm happy to pay into the NHS. I haven't used the NHS for 2 or 3 years.
Everything, single thing. Yes. I do get it. And look, I once sat, and people might be shocked, surprised. I sat on the BBC diversity panel. People need time to process that. Yeah. I remember on the day that I was on that panel, so I was there representing working class viewpoint, but I remember, and this is like the staff and the security when you get there are predominantly people of colour, right? So I went to check in. The guy said, "What's your name? What are you here for?" And I said, "I'm Geoff Norcott and I'm on the diversity panel." And the guy looked at me and went, "Yeah?" Like, you could tell he's thinking, you? Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. And it was confusing to people. But what I realised, having sat in on that meeting with like Tim Davie and like big, like high ranking people, one of the problems they have is that the top people get the idea that you need to have like diversity of opinion. And that doesn't mean you need 50-50 pushback on everything, a flat earther,
Yes.
It doesn't mean you need that. What I do think the problem it suffers from is, like, as a workplace, is those people get the need for diversity of viewpoints. Once you get down to, like, I would say the cliche, a blue-haired producer who's only in it.
There are a few of them.
Yeah, so once you get that, the kind of ones that are fucking microwave in there. I'm just trying to. What's the current like stereotypical food for progressives?
I think it's still tofu.
It's microwaving their fucking tofu, churning out, Doctor Who or whatever. But it is a strange place in a way when you actually go there for a meeting.
It's not a nice place to work.
It's so quiet. No one's bullying anyone, for a laugh.
I don't think it was always thus. I imagine even 10, 15, 20 years ago, Broadcasting House would have felt thriving. There's actually a sadness to it.
It's very quiet.
It really feels like, and what's really fucking annoying about that place is if you do go there for a meeting every now and then, they don't have meeting rooms. They have glass booths. Pods where you have a meeting pod where everyone can see what you're doing. It's the least conducive place for sort of artistic temperament.
In fairness to the BBC, given their history, with some of the blokes
you
that
need
work
a
there,
glass.
You need the glass pod.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on now to talk about.
I reckon we're going to get a lot of shit for that BBC thing. I think.
In what way?
Because we didn't give the BBC enough shit.
Well, if I was watching
we were going the positives, not the negatives, of which there are many.
If I was watching that, I would say clearly Norcott was pulling his punches because he still does work for them.
Yeah,
and they'd be right.
Yeah. I'm not pulling my punches because I work for them, because I don't work for them. I once did some work for their radio. I still get so much shit for it. I'm pro BBC as an idea.
I am cautiously pro BBC.
Whilst you're still taking the taxpayer dollar.
Yeah, once they fuck me off, I'll tell you exactly what I think.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk now about another form of media here. It's about social media, because we were talking in the week about the fact that obviously your digital imprint is way bigger than mine, but we sort of felt a bit recently like we're becoming the old men of stuff. It's kind of sometimes harder to get clips really doing the stuff. Is that how you felt? I mean, you're coming from a much higher starting point.
I certainly don't get the regular viewership that I used to get when I kind of first started, but also I don't put anywhere near as much content out as I used to when I first started. But it's sort of settled. I've got this weird thing where I think the old me would have been sort of jealous of people who are doing better than me.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of comics, particularly satirical comics out there who are doing a lot better than I am, numbers-wise, right?
Not touring, though, let's be honest.
No, they're not touring. But it's weird. I look at some of these sort of young upstarts and they're not. But I do have this weirdly paternal instinct towards them. The one that springs to mind recently is Cody Darla. I don't know if you've encountered him. He's everywhere.
Not really my algorithm.
No. But have you heard of him?
I've heard of him.
You know, if you want to, he's sort of explainers. If you don't want to be a thicky dum dum in front of all your mates, here's an explainer, but in an amusing way. I'm not sure I was exactly a pioneer, right? But I do pioneer. But I do think there are
my surname's not here.
Yeah. There are a lot of people out there now who, do funny, amusing, slightly sweary commentary on politics, and I do wonder whether I slightly sort of paved the way for some of these people. I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet.
You're so ridiculously gracious of you. I think they're all pricks. I'm sick of it. Every time I go on social media, I see yet another sketch. Right, so there's a kind of comedy sketch that does very well, which in a way makes me feel sorry for legacy media, because they can't get a sketch comedy to work for love nor money. And then some guy will just do a sketch where, to denote it's a woman, he puts a tea towel on his head, or the sketch will be about a very simple concept, and it will be like, say for example, men have been wearing shorts for the last few weeks because it's hot, and the concept of the sketch will be, it's your jeans in the cupboard going, well, no one's put me on for a few weeks. That's fucking it. It's shit.
It's sort of the memification of comedy, really, isn't it? It's sort of like I tell you what it's another thing about this sort of online comedy thing is you'll notice that most stand-up comedians put out what comedians call crowd work, is when they're either interrupted or they're heckled, and how they deal with it, or their crowd work. And the reason they do that is because they don't want to waste their material online. If you're going on tour, you don't want to do your best 3 minutes because
it's exhaustible.
But the problem with that is I think it's changing the way audiences approach live comedy, because audiences are sort of being trained to think that their input is as important as the comedian's work. And I think the discipline of audiences, and it does sound like I'm having a go, I wish they'd just stay there and be quiet and laugh in the right places, but I kind of fucking wish they did.
I mean, that's totally your
thing. I think that audiences feel like they have the right to interrupt and have their say, whereas actually I'm like, I personally as a performer, I've spent a year writing this fucking script. I prefer to do it the way I want to do it, not the way you want me to do it.
Well, I say with crowd work, another dimension to that, because you kind of try your stuff out in very specific context. I do the club circuit, and what you do sometimes get now is younger comics will set up a camera, so they'll be MCing, and they'll sometimes overrun because they've got their little fishing rod out of comedy, and they're just waiting for a happening, and you'll literally get to the point where somebody go, what have you got in your handbag? And you're like, just fucking get me on. We're overrun. Now, I should say, if anybody's thinking, well, Norcott is just clearly jealous. Of course that this is about jealousy.
Of course.
If I'd have thought of this, I wouldn't be saying any of this.
It's interesting, when I first started, the comedy world didn't exactly embrace me with open arms, and I kind of understand it because I was sort of getting millions of views, and then I went to Edinburgh and I just sold it out, and everyone's like, hang on a minute, who the hell is this?
But that's how we became friends.
Yeah,
we did an interview together.
I wouldn't say friends, Jeff, but okay, that's how we met. But what was interesting is I found an attitude shift towards me and towards Jonathan Pike when COVID hit, and when suddenly all these comedians were like, I need to earn some money, and so every comedian in the country basically became an online. That's how they.
It's the only form of media in which we could.
And
exist,
then suddenly the attitude, I felt attitudes completely changed towards me, going, oh, he was just sort of doing it slightly.
Bit of a pioneer.
A pioneer. I feel like I've bigged myself up like I'm like this really original thing. It's not. It's just this sense. No, I'm really, because I hate that.
You own it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be like a female friend going, you own it. You were a pioneer. All those other bitches need to understand. You mentioned about comedy during COVID. They were just to try and get performances happening. At one point, they were doing like drive-in comedy.
Yeah.
And I did one in Northamptonshire in a car park, right?
Yeah.
And the first one went all right. And by that, I mean people flashed their lights and honked their horns. The second one, I was closing and it started going badly. Like I was getting no lights flashed, no horns honked. What started to happen, so in a gig, people might just get up and walk out, which is bad enough. People from the front row started reversing out of their space.
No, doing a 3-point turn in the middle of
ages, right? And then it started a thing. And so the darker it got, you could see all the blinking indicator lights. But then what happened was, so many of them had driven up to the small junction, there started to be a traffic jam back into the gig.
People trying to get out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, just hating it so much. And like from going from not being able to gig to then having a good gig in a car park, it was one of the most fucking. A good gig in a car park is normally getting sucked off, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would rather have been given head than what happened that night.
I was supposed to do one, and then the 2 days before, a mate of mine had gone to watch one, and it was Dom Jolly. And it was windy as fuck, and it just looked absolutely miserable. And there were about 6 cars, and I was like, "Oh God, this looks absolutely awful."
Like dogging,
and then the 2 days before, they cancelled it, and I was never happier.
It just feels very close to dogging. You're up there, and there's these people in cars going.
The only time a bunch of people have ever stared at me in a car park is when I shat myself in Asda car park. You know what I mean? Just everyone's like, "Oh God!"
So
that didn't happen.
I really enjoyed that chat, man. This is the penultimate one. We're doing another one next week. The Q&As are there for you to watch. They're not, like, these are topical. The Q&As, you can watch them anytime you want.
Yeah.
Do remember to put your questions in there. You can pick up on themes from within this show. I suspect I might get pushed back on some stuff. We'll definitely both get pushed back.
We're going to get some help for that.
Is that your prediction, BBC stuff? Yeah. I think my prediction would be that Geoff didn't castigate Donald Trump enough. I think there'll be some of that. But surprise us.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was...
that went well.
There was a double well. Okay.
Well, can we, quick request, for the last show, can we get the fucking comma in? Come on, please.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, let's hope the comma's back next week. Until that time.
Until then.
Until that time.
I thought you were teeing it up. Until then.
This is the worst we've ever done it.
Okay.
Until then.
Well, that went well.
That'll do.